Let's start this evening with a Tasman woman who came within inches of being killed after a digger dropped a massive tree stump onto her truck. Now, she's outraged that WorkSafe won't investigate the accident. Pamela Coleman was heading home when the stump, which was roughly the same size as her double cab ute, rolled onto her from the banks above the road. The digger operator described the incident as a near miss, and WorkSafe closed the case without even contacting Mrs Coleman. Our cameraman, Monro, and in-depth reporter Max Towle filed this report.
Pamela Coleman was heading home to her farm near Motueka when she drove round a bend and got the shock of her life.
I just saw this enormous tree. It looked like it just fell out of the sky. It just came hurtling down and I thought that was it. It was the end of my life. And what happened was it bounced on the bonnet and then it went forwards and then just really luckily it just went back.
When the enormous tree stump, roughly the size of her entire truck, landed on her bonnet, her face collided with her steering wheel with such a force that it cracked.
Couldn't breathe. I didn't know at the time, but multiple ribs were broken, and I just thought, you know, where is everybody? I'm on my own in the middle of nowhere. Every in-breath was just so painful, I couldn't breathe. I had glass in my knees and they were all bleeding and my head was all smashed.
Her truck was a write-off. Do you think perhaps a split second later you might have been killed? Or
a nanosecond I would have been dead, without a doubt.
A few moments later, the local school bus arrived behind her.
If I'd been driving faster, I'd probably missed the tree, but then she would have probably rammed into it. Yeah.
The stump had been accidentally dropped by a digger operator working on a private property on the banks above the road.
I couldn't lie down because it was too painful, so I had to sleep sitting up downstairs, so I couldn't do the stairs or anything for about 2 weeks. I literally had to sit up with those aeroplane nose on my neck, and then I couldn't sleep because I kept having nightmares. If I drive around a corner or bend, I still get a little bit anxious because you just don't know what's around that corner. So I do get anxious going around corners, yeah.
The accident happened in April last year. About a month later, Ms Coleman called WorkSafe. She discovered the digger operator had sent WorkSafe an incident report saying Ms Coleman only had minor scrapes and bruises, while giving no description of the size of the stump. WorkSafe had closed the file without contacting her.
They called it a near miss. That's what they said. It was a near miss.
A near miss.
Yeah. So I just explained to them that I was seriously injured, and it nearly killed me, and I had photographs to show the state of my vehicle and everything else, and so I asked to reopen the file.
WorkSafe did reopen the file, but again declined to investigate.
No one talked to me. It wasn't investigated. I still can't get my head around why they wouldn't reopen it and look at it more carefully, because, I mean, their slogan is "Get you home safe," isn't it? I mean, you know, how serious does it have to be for them to investigate?
WorkSafe says it takes all notifications of incidents seriously and understands Ms Coleman's concerns, but stands by its decision not to contact her or open an investigation. The agency says after Ms Coleman called, it visited the digger operator's site and came away happy another incident wouldn't occur. Garth Galloway, a lawyer specialising in health and safety law, says WorkSafe's lack of communication with Ms Coleman was poor and that an investigation was justified.
Their decision-making around which matters they do investigate has to be absolutely critically thought through, and it's very important from the point of view of victims that takes place. And the thing that I question in this case is making a decision within 24 hours of receiving a notification. Does that really allow them an opportunity to truly consider that this is a matter that did not require any further investigation at all? In my view, that decision has just been made too quickly.
The digger operator would not comment, but the owner of the property he was working on would. He's high-profile American businessman Gary Hirshberg, the co-founder of the organic yogurt company Stonyfield Farm. In 2018, he bought 69 hectares near Motueka, where he's building an organic farm and education centre. He offered to pay Ms Coleman $2,500 to make up the insurance shortfall for her written-off truck, but on the condition she sign a disclaimer that she wouldn't take any action against him and would never talk about the accident with anyone other than a lawyer or professional advisor.
I just felt insulted, to be honest. I felt really insulted by that and upset.
In a statement, Gary Hirshberg says despite never feeling any obligation to help, he chose to offer Ms Coleman money as a friendly, neighbourly gesture. He says confidentiality clauses are the norm in the US, and he's shocked Miss Coleman felt insulted. He says it's possible he still has a bit to learn about New Zealand's customs and practices.
Come on, chicks.
Ms Coleman remains upset and without closure, especially regarding WorkSafe's response to the accident.
Basically, they're not doing their job. I mean, if things like accidents like this are going to happen and they're not going to investigate, it's a real worry. It's a real worry.
What is the purpose of WorkSafe if not to investigate incidents like this?
Getting you home safe is what they say. And it's just not happening. Well, it didn't happen in my case anyway. And I don't know if there's any other cases out there that have been sort of washed over. I'm not sure.
For Jack Point, Max Towle.